Good day, class. This is Sir Brian. And before the semester ends, let's have a recap about the previous topics you have discussed in the subject Science, Technology, and Society. As we all know, science, technology, and society is an interdisciplinary field that studies the conditions under which the production, distribution, and utilization of scientific knowledge and technological system occur. The consequences of these activities upon different group of people. So, for me to make sure that you have learned something in the subject is, I will ask you, my dear students, some specific questions based on the lessons you have discussed in the subject Science, Technology, and Society. So, we'll start. First in the list is Miss Clarice May Palakpak. Okay, can you narrate to us the history of science and technology here in the Philippines? And what are its important to us humans nowadays?
Good morning, sir. Over the time, many things have been developed as others expect it is more conducive to growth and giving importance to the people. Past the Stone Age, the archaeological stone found out, and as a result, they developed weapons and other things like ornaments. In Iron Age, Filipinos engaged on extraction, melting, and refining of iron, where they invented a lot of things that can really give improvement to our daily living, like the boats for water transportation, with cotton, rice, and many more. In pre-colonial period, they engaged different activities, especially Filipinos. They had alphabet as a system of writing and method measuring, and making medicines using herbs or plants that are good for humans. It came the Spanish regime, American regime, Commonwealth period, and so on. Many years and events, it has been a good improvement to our needs until we are now in a modern world. Many improvements and inventions have been developed that made people tasks more helpful and easier. The important to us as a human nowadays is that the tasks are made easier and we don't waste too much time to do something or get somewhere. Because of those inventions, still continue to improve the ability of invention that we can use. There's a lot of advantage of having those things which has helped the people in our country. Thank you.
Oh, very good, Clarice. Very well said. Second to speak is Miss Kathleen Joy Tabaco. Please elaborate the different historical tools invented on the different periods, and what are the importance of those tools in the life before?
As I remember in this lesson, there are three periods. Those are ancient period, middle period, and modern period. So each period, they have the corresponding or different invented tools. So in ancient period, they invented the ancient wheel, shadow, paper, antikythera mechanism, and aeolipile. So, those tools was important to them because those tools helped them a lot. Likewise, in middle period, they invented the heavy plow, gunpowder, paper money, mechanical clock, and spinning. So, as usual, these tools was very useful in everyday life. That makes these tools very useful to their period. So lastly, modern period. This period, they invented the bamboo incubator, erythromycin, the PC chipset, quick ink, and electronic jeepney. Those tools was helpful in their health, so it is important and it is helpful in their works. It makes work easier and faster. Those are the three periods and their inventions. So I can say in this lesson, I've learned the different invention in those periods, and I learned how important those tools in their life. And I can say that every invention is the natural outcome of creative thinking of human.
Very good, Kathleen. You indeed listened in our previous discussion. Keep it up. Next to answer is Miss Jamaica Tabion. Okay, here's your question. What is the difference of scientific method and creationist method?
Good morning, sir. The difference is that the scientific method starts with no assumptions, and the goal is to let the evidence point you to the correct conclusion. If you then encounter evidence that doesn't fit with the current explanation, you have to modify the explanation or come up with another one entirely. Science has gotten to the point where the general concepts are very well established, but we continue to refine our understanding of the world. In creationism, the conclusion has already been reached, namely that the Christian Bible is literal true word for word and that the earth was created by God very recently. Starting with this conclusion, creationists must then look for evidence to support it. When evidence comes to light that doesn't support the conclusion, they modify the evidence.
Very good. You got it right, Jamaica. Fourth to answer is Miss Ashera May Bernabe. Listen well. Here's your question. Who are the intellectuals we discussed in the previous meeting, and what are the revolutionary ideas?
Good morning, sir. In this lesson, I learned a lot, such as the three intellectuals and their revolutionary ideas. The first one is Nicolaus Copernicus. He is the first one who said that the sun was the center of the universe and formalized his model in the publication of his treatise, The Revolutions of Celestial Spheres, in 1543, which aims to expound and promote the heliocentric system. Heliocentrism or heliocentric system is a theory that's stating the form of the universe with the sun its center. The second one is Charles Darwin. He is a British naturalist who proposed the theory of biological evolution by natural selection, just like the origin of species. His ideas that species change over time, it gives rise to a new species, and share a common ancestor. There are also four so-called evidence of evolution to prove his theory that individuals in nature differ from one another. Because more organisms are produced that can survive, each species must struggle for resources, and these are the following: the fossils record, geographic distribution of living things, homologous body structures, and the similarities in early development. And the third and last intellectual is Sigmund Freud. His theory is all about psychoanalysis. It is a method of investigating the mind and especially the unconscious mind. He also believed that human behavior is a result of the three components of psyche, which is the ID, ego, and superego. And these are new self-standing discipline based on the knowledge gained from the application of the investigation method and clinical experiments. And according to Freud, there are three levels of mind, and each level corresponds and overlaps with Freud ideas of the ID, ego, and superego. The first one is a conscious mind. This conscious mind contains all thoughts, memories, feelings, and wishes of which we are aware at any given moment. The second one is preconscious mind. These consist of anything that could potentially be brought in the conscious mind. While the third is unconscious mind. These are all about the reservoir of feelings, thoughts, urge, and memories that outside of our conscious awareness. And that's all. Thank you.
Well said, Ashara. Very good. Next to speak is Miss Kyla Camille Vivid. Please discuss to us the concept of science education here in the Philippines and give some examples of science schools in the country.
Good morning, sir.
This lesson will discuss the concept of science education in the Philippines. One of the strategies to promote science education in the country. One of the strategies is to establish science school that will encourage students to pursue their career in science and technology and to nurture their gifted potential in science. The concept of science education is to focus on teaching, learning, and understanding science. Teaching science involves developing ways on how to effectively teach science. And also, understanding science implies developing and applying science process skills and using science literacy in understanding the natural world and activities in everyday life. So, these are the science school here in the Philippines. First is the Philippine Science High School System, Special Science Elementary School, Quezon City Regional Science High School, Manila Science High School, and also Central Visayan Institute Foundation.
Okay, very good, Miss Kyla. Fifth in the list is Miss Charlene Disolok. Please tell to us who are the 10 famous Filipino in the field of science and what are their inventions. Aside from that, who are the 4 Filipino scientists recognized in abroad for their outstanding contribution in science?
Good morning, sir. Here are the 10 famous Filipino in the field of science. First, Ramon Cabanes Barba, outstanding research on tissue culture in Philippine mangroves. Second is Josefino Cacas Comiso, observing the characteristic of Antarctica by using satellite image. The third is Jose Bahar Cruz Jr., known internationally in the field of electrical engineering. Fourth, Lourdes Jansoy Cruz, research on sea snail venom. Fifth is Fabian Millar Gairit, research on herbal medicine. Sixth is Rafael Dineros Guerrero III, research on tilapia culture. The seventh is Enrique Mapa Estrella Jr., who inventing the meconium drugs testing. Eighth is Lilian Formalejo Patena, research on plant biotechnology. Ninth is Marijo Panganiban Luis, outstanding educator and graph theorist. And lastly, Gregory Ligot Tangonan, research on field of communication technology. And here also the 4 Filipino scientists recognized in the abroad for their outstanding contribution in science. First is Cesar A. Saloma, an internally nerve physicist. Second is Eduardo Gomez, a famous scientist on marine science. Third is William Padulina, a chemistry and president of National Academy of Science and Technology, Philippines. And for the last is Angel Alcala, a marine science.
Very good, Charlene. Next to answer is Miss Hiranika. Here's your question. What is abundant life and how to have an abundant life?
Good morning, sir. Abundant life is the feeling of happiness and contentment in all aspects of life. No fear, just peace and joy inside and out. People live harmoniously without illness of the mind and heart and soul. Abundant life can only be attained if we do right to ourselves and to others. Most of all, if we put God as the center of our life.
Very well said, Hira. You got it right. So, last in the list is Miss Apple. Listen, here's your question. What is good life to you? And how to have a good life, especially at these trying times?
Good morning, sir. What is a good life? Based on what I learned in our lesson, a good life is living well, a person or a family. How to achieve good life, especially in this time of pandemic. There's a many ways for us to have a good life, such as growing vegetables, selling old things, making recycled materials to sell, and so on. Like my family. My parents work on this farm, and my sister and I sold at the market. In this way, we achieve good life or good living. If we want to have what we call good life, we must learn to be strategic in life. The lesson what I learned here is if we want our life to be good, it must take efforts and perseverance to achieve it.
Excellent, Miss Apple. That's all. Thank you for participating in our question and answer portions. Your answers are all true and right, guys. And you're indeed learning our previous discussion. So, good job on that. So, to wrap it up, here is the overall conclusion of science, technology, and society. Science and technology are important parts of our day-to-day life. We get up in the morning from the ringing of our alarm clocks and go to bed at night after switching off our lights. All these luxuries that you are able to afford are resultant of science and technology. Most importantly, how we can do all this in a short time are because of the advancement of science and technology only. Yes, it is hard to imagine our life now without science and technology. Indeed, our existence itself depends on it now. Every day, new technologies are coming up which are making human life easier and more comfortable. Essentially, science and technology have introduced to us the establishment of modern civilization. This development contributes greatly to almost every aspect of our daily life. Hence, people get the chance to enjoy these results, which make our lives more relaxed and more pleasurable. We must admit that science and technology have led human civilization to achieve perfection in living. However, we must utilize everything in wise perspective and to limited extents, because misuse of science and technology can produce harmful consequences. Therefore, we must monitor the use and be wise in our actions. That's all for today's class. Thank you for participating in the discussion. Have a nice day ahead. Bye!